Everyone, welcome once again to another live streaming. Today I'm going to show you something special, simple, how to bake a steak, and I'll be serving the steak with this pumpkin. And let's just get started without wasting your time. So I will start by peeling the pumpkin. So pumpkin is mostly seasonal and in the winter. So I want to show you one easy way of serving your steak with pumpkin puree. But today I'm going to make it in an espuma bottle. So make sure to stay till the end to see how simple and delicious you can present your steak. So it's easy. I'm using here a saw knife. It is very easy to peel the pumpkin using this. So I'm making a very light and vegetable sauce using this pumpkin. And I'll be serving it with a steak. So I just slice the pumpkin in two, and I will scoop out the seed inside of the pumpkin using just a spoon. I find it easier. Just go around the pumpkin and I scoop it out like this with the spoon. You can use it like as if you are scraping it. So you can remove everything out. Then it's clean. So I'll just do the same. I call this scooping. Just go around. Sometimes it's a little tough, but just go around and you can remove it this way. So I'll set this aside first. Then I have here onions and garlic. So I'm going to use half of the onions because I don't want it. It's not an onion soup. So I just want a bit of the flavor in the pumpkin puree. But I don't want it to taste like onions. So what I mean is you don't want it to overpower the taste of the pumpkin. I put it aside first so I can empty my dustbin. So it still is the same thing also with the garlic. It's not, you don't want to overpower the pumpkin with the garlic. So just using 2 cloves of garlic. I'm coming right back. I'm going to empty my dustbin. So now I'm going to slice the pumpkin in chunks to allow it to cook quickly. Since I am making it live and I don't want to take too much of your time. Otherwise, I can even cut it bigger than this, but to make it, to cook it faster, cut it in smaller pieces. Welcome everyone once again to another live streaming. Chef Viviane here. I'm here today to show you an easy way of making pumpkin, a kind of pumpkin sauce, or you can call it pumpkin espuma, and I'm going to serve it with a steak. And I start first by preparing the pumpkin, and then later I will show you the steak, how to bake the steak, and to get the perfect temperature. Like I'm going to make it, I'm going to serve a medium rare steak today, serve on top of the puree. Make sure you stay till the end so that you see this beautiful and very simple method of cooking and serving this steak. I have here also, I use about half big onions or medium big white onions. I use white onions because I want to keep the color also of the pumpkin. That it don't become, if you use red onions, it can interfere with the color of the pumpkin. So, and here I'm using 2 medium also cloves of garlic. So I add everything together and then I just set it aside. So going to set up the next. So I'm going to set up this apart first. So we are going to bake the steak before we start cooking the pumpkin. So I have here, always make sure that your steak is brought to a kind of room temperature, that the steak is not too cold before you start, you know, cooking the steak. Have a very beautiful, you know, rib bone steak that I'm going to bake and cook. It has a little bit of bone here, which hold all the juice of the steak together. And make sure it depends on what kind and the what how you want your steak to be cooked. That is how your steak should be sliced. If you want your steak to be well done, you have to slice it thinner. But this steak, I'm going to cook it medium rare. That is, I want it to be a bit still red from inside. So that is why I slice it that thick. So I will first season the steak with some pepper and salt. So, and then I'm going to add okay. I'm going to turn on the heat. Okay, I'm going to bring another pan. So I'm going to add some butter to my pan. And it's very important that you allow the stove or your pan to be warm enough before you place your steak on the pan. Because if it's not warm enough, the steak will start cooking, like steaming, instead of sealing. So we call this process sealing of the steak. So you don't want it to start cooking. You want it like in a high heat so that it can seal the steak. And by doing that, you keep all the juice in the steak, and the steak doesn't get dried, or that it loses all its juice after baking it or after cooking it. So it has to be, hot. But your oil, your butter should not be burnt, but it should be just hot enough, like what you see here. We call it noisette. So then I lay the steak on there. I just reduce it a bit. I just allow the steak to do its job. You don't need to turn it immediately, or you need just allow it to do its job. That is sealing the steak. So we just keep watching. So we are going to check it out now, if the steak has been sealed or not. If not, we allow it still for a few seconds, because this process is very important. You want the steak to be well sealed so that it can retain all its juiciness. So by now, I think you see the steak has been sealed. So you turn it once again. So you give it some time so that the steak can seal. So at this point, I'm going to add a garlic clove to the steak, and then I'm going to add also some rosemary to the steak. So now I'm going to pour the butter on top of the steak, just to give it more crispiness. You see the steak is well sealed now. So I'm going to lower the heat of the steak. I'm going to stir it again. Then I'm going to arrose, that is pouring, using your spoon to give in a kind of pouring the butter, the baked butter or the cooked butter on top of the steak. So it gives the steak more sealing around the corner of the steak that cannot be baked in the oil, or that cannot be cooked in the oil. So this using your spoon, seal that corner also of the steak. So, and the garlic give the steak another tastiness. So now I'm going to set the steak aside and allow the steak to rest a bit. Later, I will be putting the steak in the oven for about 3 minutes or so, just to give it some warmness and allow it to rest again before I serve it. So I'm going to set it aside first. So now I'm going to clean my workplace again. It's important working and cleaning so everything will be neat. No, that is how we do it here. Let's just make sure it's clean so we can, yes. So as next, then I'm going to begin with sauteing the pumpkin. You can use any fat stuff of your choice, but I am using here butter. So you have to keep stirring because You don't want it to be decolored. You don't want it to color up. So you want it the you want the punky and all the punky and the onions and the garlic to keep its color. That is, you have to keep stirring. You cannot move from here while sauteing the punky, so that you can retain the beautiful orange color. So I add the veggies in. But even at this point, if you want, you can immediately add water to it. But I find it that is very delicious when you saute the pumpkin a bit. I'm going to get some water. So I add a bit of water. And then add some salt. But I will still test it at the end to know if I have to season more or less. But I cannot season less anymore. That is why it's important that you don't season too much. It's better you season less and season it later again if it needs more than it's too much. So pumpkin is very easy to cook, so I put on the stove to the highest. So now the pumpkin is doing its job now. So I just allow the pumpkin to cook. It doesn't take long for pumpkin to be ready because pumpkin is a soft and texture vegetable. So in a couple of minutes now, it will be ready. I know there is nothing else to do. I just have to keep watching at the pumpkin. And meanwhile, if you don't know me or it's the first time you're coming to this channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course share with someone to whom it may be useful. Thank you. My aim here is to show you what we do here in our little restaurant. We serve food. All food are made here from scratch. And that is why we want to share our love, our passion, and the little technique that we use here to bring that delicious food to the table for our guests. And we hope to extend that knowledge to you. If you are seeking for something like this, you want to learn more about French Belgian cuisine, or let me say fine dining at the comfort of your home, you want to learn more techniques, I say welcome. You are in the right place. I will share with you all my knowledge and of course my love about food. So start cooking, as I said. Pumpkin is very easy. In a few minutes or so, we will start mixing. So it's not so difficult. So you see it's cooking. So I just have to wait for it. So welcome again, once again, everyone. Thank you. I'm so honored to be your chef today, once again, to show you what we do here in our kitchen. I am going to serve you this delicious steak later. With this delicious, I want to show you a good combination or an easy combination that you can make in the comfort of your home to bring that luxury plates on your dining table for your guests. So I'm baking this steak, and this steak has already been pre-baked, but I'm leaving it to come to a temperature, and later I'm going to serve it with this pumpkin espuma just to give it that luxury taste. Of course, it's very delicious too. So just to give you an idea how to serve one way on how to serve steak to your guests if you don't want all those heavy sauce on your steak. So vegetable sauce, I should say. So that is the deal of the day, the steak. So I'm just going to keep it on a warm place to give it that to let it come to temperature. So I start getting preparing. So we see if it is soft. It's not there yet, but we are getting closer. You know, pumpkin is not so difficult to cook. So in a few minutes, it should be ready. Maybe I should add a little bit of water, not too much, just that it sits under. So I would like to know what you people want me to make in this channel, because sometimes I don't really have an idea what you guys want me to make. If you have anything that you have challenges, any food that you have challenges that you really want to know how to make it, you can send me a message. And if it is something, I can look into it and make it for you to show you or demonstrate how to make it. So don't hesitate to leave a comment and send your messages, of course, and I will attend to every one of your messages. Don't also forget to go to our channel and watch other of our videos where we show other recipes and other food that we make here, mostly everything we make here in our kitchen. So we are coming closer. It's cooking very hard. You know, most of the time when I'm working here in the kitchen, I just put it on the heat and I go and do other things. I forget it till when it's soft, it's cooked or it's done. But now it's on a live video. I have no other option than just to wait for it. And sometimes it takes like ages, you know, but I have no other option. We just have to wait. In a few minutes, I think we will be there. So it's already getting softer. You see, we have to keep. We are. It's already almost there, but we have to wait for a few minutes so that everything will be, will be ready. Make sure you like, comment, send your messages, and ask any question where you do not understand, and I will be very glad to help you. So make sure you stay till the end so that you will see the end result of this delicious recipe I want to share with you, or this, delicious meal I want to share with you. A simple but very delicious recipe. And I will be sharing the recipe later with you on a later day. But now I will just show you the practical so that you know how it is done. But later day I'll be showing you the recipe in full. So we'll be there very soon. So I'm going to give it a stir a bit. You see it's almost ready because pumpkin is easily softened. I'm going to add just a bit of water again because it's cooking at a very high heat, so it's a bit messy, you see, because of live. I don't want to keep you guys too long on the live video. So yeah, we are almost there. Yeah, almost there. So I just lower the heat a bit. Then I'm going to bring my steak to a temperature. So clean our table again once again because we're always working on a very clean surface. That everywhere, everything is clean, always. We are like cleaners and cooks all together. So check it again, you see. Normally pumpkin is very easy to cook. It's not so difficult. So I just give it a little bit of time again, you see, and it will be okay. It will be softened. And see, that is why when you cut it very small, it will be cooked easily. I still have to wait certainly for about 3 minutes, and we'll be mixing it then. So Thank you, everyone. So we are almost there. You see? So I will be using this bottle. So I will be using this bottle to show you the technique I want to show you today. So I just have to force the pumpkin to cook fastly, quickly, because I don't want to keep you guys too long and on this live streaming. But you get my point, you understand what I'm trying to achieve here. I add a little bit of water again to it. So normally I just put this on the stove. I set this on the stove and I allow it to do its job, allow it to cook slowly, and then I can mix it on in my blender, and then I can do the next stage. But now it's like forcing it to cook fastly or quickly. So I'll give it another 2 minutes so it will be ready. So I think we are there now. Okay. So now I'm going to transfer this to the blender. So I have here a blender. Next, I'm going to blend a little first, and then we have the next after it. Check it. I need to use. So I'm going to add the rest to the blender. I'm going to set this my fireplace aside. And then I clean my table again once again. Can you mix? Okay. So now I'm going to add more butter. A more full taste. Kind of umami. Look at how it has a little bit of see. So that it will give it volume and it will hold the texture in the espuma. I'm still going to add a little bit of butter to it. So you see how it looks now. Then I'm going to test. I'm going to test it if I still need to add some salt or pepper. Yes, I think some salt and some pepper. I'm going to check my steak first. So now I'm going to mix it once again to bring everything together. Okay, and so now ready. It's now ready. Let me show you the next step. So now I'm going to make the espuma. I'm going to put it here in the espuma bottle. It's in the espuma bottle. So this is the consistency you are looking for when you are making it. It should not be too thick and it should not be too thin. So you see, it should a little bit runny like this. Not too thin and not too thick. You have to fill also the bottle till where you have the line of maximum. Set this aside. So I'm going to close the espuma bottle and charge it with nitrogen. Make sure it is well closed. And now I'm going to charge it with nitrogen. So after charging it, then I just shake it. Okay, after shaking it, you can first test it to see if it's okay or not. You see that is foamy and it's okay. You see it's almost not falling out immediately. It's not running anymore. See that it's foamy and it's not running anymore. So it's, you see the espuma texture, you see it. So I'm going to show you the next stage, how to present this steak with the espuma. First, I'm going to clean my table again once more so that I can show you the presentation of this steak. So I have my steak that has already here been cooked. As I started cooking the steak from in the beginning of this video, if maybe you didn't follow up on in the beginning, so I wanted to show you one way how you can present your steak in a fine dining way in the comfort of your home with just this simple technique. So let me show you. I have already cooked the steak and allow it to rest a bit, so I will show you how to present it with this technique. You see, it doesn't always have to be difficult. Sometimes it's just simple technique, but well implemented, and it is then very delicious. So I have to set a knot under my plank so that it will not move. Anyway, what I'm going to do first is to apply the espuma. So you see what I mean? You see how beautiful it is. You see how beautiful it is, the espuma. So I even thought first of slicing the steak, but now I think I will just be serving the steak on, on top of the espuma. You see, it doesn't always have to be so difficult or so complicated, let me use that word, to make something fine dining. I have to clean the side of the plate. To make a fine dining doesn't have to be too complicated or so complicated or difficult as some people may think. So you just give, like, I can add some fine touch decoration, with microgreens. I have here some microgreen, and I have here some watercress, some watercress and some microgreen, on top of the steak. Sometimes it's so difficult to make, to have a, to speak while you are demonstrating. But of course, sorry, my speaker, because my speaker went off. So let me make a change and turn on the speaker. Okay. So today episode is making a spuma of pumpkin with steak that has been cooked to my taste. You know, if you present this to any guest at home, I think it is wow, and everybody will enjoy it, even without having to serve all those heavy sauces that most people doesn't like. But with this sauce, that sweetness of punky with a well cooked steak to your taste is always, I think, a welcome in on any dining table. Hope you enjoy something new in this episode. Chef Viviane here to show you most of the technique we use here in our kitchen. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask it, and I will be very, very glad to help you. So let me present once again cooked steak to my taste, served on an espuma of pumpkin. If you didn't watch the video from the beginning, make sure to go back to the channel to watch it from the start. And of course, if you don't understand any question, any section, send your question, and I will be glad to help you out. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family or to whom it may be useful. See you next time on the next episode. Ciao. Mwah. Love you all, Chef Viviane. Bye bye. See you guys.